so sad and heartbreaking. I'm gonna go cry. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming a video that I feel like we needed to be cozy for. It's not super sunny outside in LA today, even though it was like summer earlier in the week, but not today. So I feel like we needed our tea, our blanket, even though, yeah, it's 63, that's freezing for LA. So I thought we'd get cozy and talk about some sad stuff. So I don't know about you, but I love a book that leaves me depressed. What does that say about me as a person? I love a lot of like heartache. I really do prefer if it has a happy ending. That's like ideal, but that doesn't always happen. But I love a lot of heartache, struggle, love, loss. I like it in my literature, not in my life. So I thought I would share 10 books that top of mind that came to me that will rip your heart out and make you sob. If that's your thing. It is my thing. It's my thing, So the first book that will rip your heart out is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. So this book, I like devoured this book and I love to reread it. It is just pretty much like sucker punch to the gut over and over and over and over. I loved it. So basically it's about these two, I think they're like late teens-ish when they meet, Ben and Fallon. And Fallon is a kind of out of work child actor. She has this was in a fire, has a really bad scar. So she's dealing with that, like basically ending her career, which is horrible. So she's going to move to New York and really pursue stage acting. So she meets Ben on her like last day in LA, which is where they live. And her and Ben come up with this pact that they will meet at this restaurant on November 9th every year on November 9th, on that day. So yeah, she moved to New York, he stays in LA, and on November 9th, they meet up at this restaurant every year. And yeah, they spend the day together. And I thought, think about your life, how much can change in a year. So that's all I'll say about it. But wow, this is my favorite Colleen Hoover book. I absolutely love this one because it ripped my heart out. Another book that ripped my heart out was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. And this is set in the UK. It's about a girl named Louisa Clark whose family is really struggling financially. They're a caretaker also to her grandfather. Her older sister has a child, and then it's her mom and her dad and her. So this family needs a lot of support. Her dad's out of work, is trying to find a job. Where she works closes down, so this family is like really struggling financially to keep everybody in the family afloat. So she takes a job as a caretaker for this like really rich family in their town for their quadriplegic, I believe he's a quadriplegic son, Will Trainer, who was kind of like a playboy, I would say, and was in a bad accident. And now he lives at home and he's paralyzed. And they don't get along very well at first, at all. He's very bitter about his situation. But yeah, she is willing to put up with his bad attitude because she needs the money to support her family. And he's not gonna scare her off from, making sure there's food on the table for her family and that her family's taken care of. So yeah, they butt heads a lot, and I think slowly a friendship develops. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. He struggles a lot with his life, how it is now, because he was very adventurous and like cliff diving and like motorcycles and very like skydiving, all of this stuff. And now he can't even feed himself. So he is very much bitter about where he is in life. So it will rip your heart out. One of the most original books that I've read that ripped my heart out was Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. I think that's right. I'm like horrible at pronouncing everything. And this is a romance, but a very atypical romance. Main characters are Lewis and Ren, and they are a newly married couple. And in this world, this is a, I guess, sci-fi book, technically. People kind of like cancer diagnosis. People can get a diagnosis where their body changes into another animal, humans or animals. So you can turn into all kinds of animals slowly, and it's not comfortable. It's painful. You have to like leave your family. You have to be like integrated into like a herd or a pod or a whatever, so you can go on with what you are now, an eagle or whatever. So obviously, like, your family loses you, and eventually you can lose your ability to speak and communicate with humans and all these kind of things. It's a very, very unique storyline. So Lewis, in his first year of marriage, is diagnosed with this disease that he is going to turn into a shark. So it's called shark heart. So it's basically him and his wife dealing with the fact that he is going to turn into a shark. And slowly the transformation happens, and it's very heartbreaking. And just reading him go through this and all the repercussions of it, so sad and heartbreaking. It's such a good book and so unique take on ripping our hearts out. I feel like it would be a travesty if I made this list about books that rip your heart out and didn't include Serenading Heartbreak by Ella Field. I mean, it's in the title, it's right there. So in Serenading Heartbreak, the main character is named Stevie, and she's, kind of been in love with her brother's best friend. So there's a trope, brother's best friend. And when they were growing up, and things end badly with them, and she meets this other guy, Aiden. The first guy's name ever. She meets Aiden in college, and he's like the perfect guy on paper and everything. So there's a lot between these three characters. I won't go into any more because it's spoilers. There's a lot of, there's addiction issues in this. It's not a cute rom-com true love triangle. There's a lot of angst, which, hello, if you click on this video, you're looking for angst. So a lot of angst in this book. And yeah, it's a tough one. The next book is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, who I love everything pretty much that she's written. And it's one of her older books. And yeah, it's a doozy. So there is a love triangle, but again, it's like a very angsty, heavy love triangle. There's nothing really cute about it. So Emma marries her high school sweetheart, Jesse, and they're just starting their life out together. And he is, I think, if I had a helicopter, I think he's like a photojournalist. It's been a little bit, the details are a little bit fuzzy for me, but he's on a helicopter going on like a job, and the helicopter disappears over like the ocean. So everyone is presumed dead. She really struggles with going on with her life. She moves back home because they moved out to LA together to start their lives. She moves back home to the East Coast. She runs into an old friend, Sam, that he always had a kind of crush on her. And she begins to build her life again. And her and Sam become engaged. And then Jesse is found alive on an island, and he has been keeping himself alive, like the castaway, this whole time trying to get back to her. So now she's fallen in love with a new person, but her husband is now still alive and coming back. So yeah, one true love. So she's in love with both of these people, and she has to come to terms with what's going to happen and how she feels and what she wants now in her life. Yeah, so it's a heavy one, but so good. The next book is 5 Feet Apart by Rachael Lippincott. And this was made into a movie, as I don't know why I mentioned this. Some of the other ones were made into movies too, like Me Before You. Anyway, so it was made into a movie within the last 6 years. Anyway, so it's basically a book about sick teenagers. So Will and Stella are in the hospital. They both have this disease, and the rule is in the hospital you can't be within 5 feet of each other because you could infect each other and infect each other's lungs and die. So all these patients have to stay away from each other. So basically they get to know each other from, a distance, a literal 5 feet distance. And they have other friends in the hospital. And it's just about these young adults, very young adults, dealing with death and a possible shorter lifespan, how their parents are dealing with it, and how they're coming to terms with it. And they develop feelings for each other. So that's difficult when you really can't be close to each other. So that's kind of 5 Feet Apart in a nutshell. And it is a very sad read. My most recent read was If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. And yeah, I just read this last month. Maybe. Time is a concept. It's a construct. I know the sequel is out, or the companion novel is out now, which I'm still debating whether I'm going to read or not. Do I want to do that to myself? I don't know. But it's basically about Autumn and Finny, that they live next door to each other. Their moms are best friends, and they grew up like very tight, very best friends. As teenage years come, they drift apart and are still orbiting, though, at the same school. They have different friends. Their moms are still best friends, so they celebrate holidays together. Their birthdays are around the same time, so they're very much still entwined in each other's lives, but it is difficult because they have grown apart. And it is not a spoiler. It is the main kind of thing in this book. It's like the first page on the back, they tell you that Finn dies in the beginning of the book. So Finn dies, and then we go back to like their Finn and Autumn's history and everything. So right there, sucker punch in the gut, it's not going to have a good ending for Finn. So, but their relationship is very sweet and just very genuine and pure. So yeah, it's going to be sad, but it really kept my attention, and just like, like dances, homework, tests, blah, 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 like looking for colleges, growing up and everything. That was all like day-to-day stuff, but it kept my attention. And there's plenty of like angst and longing in this book, so I loved it. So there's 2 Colleen Hoover books on this list, and the next one is Ugly Love. And basically it's about 2 characters, Tate and Miles, who meet and are like, okay, let's just have fun together. We're just gonna be no strings attached, friends with benefits, people with benefits. They're not even friends. And Miles has some rules attached to the relationship. Don't ask about the past and don't expect the future. And of course, that's the end and everybody's happy. So no. There's a reason he doesn't want the past to be asked about. He has an extremely traumatic and heartbreaking past, which makes him want to have relationships kind of at an arm's length distance, and he doesn't want to get his heart involved. So as they get closer, those walls start coming down, and it is very difficult for him. And his whole like past story is so heartbreaking and sad, and you get that all revealed in the story. So if you're into books that make you sad, you've probably read this one, but I could not include it. It's The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So basically it's about more sick kids. I'm sorry. Like if that's a trigger for you, don't read the two that I mentioned with sick kids, 5 feet apart in this one. So it's about Hazel, who has basically been terminally ill with cancer for a while. She's in a cancer support group, and she meets this person that's come in named Augustus, and basically kind of similar to 5 feet apart, they are going through the experience together of fighting a disease that could kill them and may kill them, and trying to be young adults, kids, have a childhood, have like teenagehood at the same time. So there's a lot of sadness about what they will miss out on, what they could miss out on, but also living in the now. So there is like a lot of hope. Also, like their parents are obviously greatly affected by this, and how they find comfort in each other, and because they're going through similar things. So that's a very popular sad book, but definitely had to be brought up here. The last book I'm going to talk about is a doozy, and that is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tillie Cole. So in 1,000 Boy Kisses, Rune and Poppy are childhood friends, and one day Poppy I believe she just disappears. And so Rune is 2 years go by. He's like, why did she just ghost me essentially? And she shows back up, and he finds out why she left. And I know that is very, very vague, but I don't know what I can say about it, but I'll say this. Let me read to you my Goodreads review for this book. One of the saddest, most depressing books I have ever read. Loved doom romances with angst and drama. They are some of my favorite stories to read, but this was just too much. It basically was just heartbreak from page 1. In my current depressed state, I'm unsure if I regret reading it. That's a lot for me to say. A really depressing book that I regret reading. So take that on board. Don't read this if you're already in a bad, dark place. Yeah, it's worn off now where like I'm like, no, it was fine that I read it. But I was like, yeah, we're debating whether I should have read it at all. So I know there's a sequel or a companion. I think it's a companion novel from a different POV, if I remember. I have not read it, and I don't think I will. But that one is a doozy where I felt like I needed to write the review on Goodreads that I don't know if I should have read this book because it's that depressing. So there you go. That's the kind of cherry on top of being depressed and sobbing over a book. So those are the books that come to mind. If you want to sob, grab your tissues. Sounds like a really fun Sunday. Yeah, let me know below in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you have the recommendations for books that made you sob, because I'm always looking for more. I can't have enough of them. And also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I also do live reading and productivity sprints, usually around twice a week, so I'd love to see you in there and we can read and be productive together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna go cry.